Look, there's loads of people in there with flags.
If I walk through there, they could shoot me. I don't know what to do.
Welcome back everyone to the mission across England. The most ambitious adventure of its kind ever attempted at the time of recording, and one that quite frankly I was surprised had gotten this far. You rejoin me 14 miles into a mammoth day in which I've already crossed a gigantic military firing range in the dark, avoided an early one-way ticket to the North Sea, and spent 4 miserable hours in the absolute bomb site that was Kidland Forest after Storm Arwen had finished with it. The plan now was to get these remaining 5 miles of moorland done, cross the Roddenburn ravine before darkness, and get across this troublesome run of fields in the low light of the evening. Seems simple enough, but we have a slight problem. I'm currently standing on the edge of a private hunting estate, watching men stood right on my line furiously wave flags to the sound of multiple shotgun blasts.
I haven't seen or heard any movement in here now for a while, so I could go for it. Okay, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to cut across, compromise, and try and hide if I can. Here we go. Oh, there's loads of sheep in here now. Oh, does that mean there's a farmer? I'm going to get back. They're all being led in there.
So we've had people with flags shooting, and now there's sheep in here. Right, I'm going to go up to the next layer.
It might look like I'm playing a very conservative game of paintball, but this was new territory for me. I had no idea how a party of hunters, some of whom probably own this land, would react to a man in camo sneaking around the place and interfering, so I could only assume not well.
I'm going to head over to this one now.
It was an odd looking place if nothing else, but my main concern now was whoever or whatever had potentially herded those sheep into it. So I stuck to the safety of the left-hand side of this flattened forest, which took me 39 metres offline before I rejoined it on this grassy hillside.
Let's skirt over here now.
And it was here that I saw exactly what I was dealing with.
Oh, look at that. That's not good.
Down below was an absolute convoy of all-terrain vehicles making their way into the heart of the estate, with both human and hound scuttling around them intently. I did feel relatively safe up here behind the trees for now, but for all I knew they could be circling around and heading my way. Then...
Oh, one of them is on this side. See it? I've got to go down there and cross that river.
For 10 minutes I sat and watched them slowly come past on my side of the river and then back again, regularly checking behind me for man or beast. I did think about just going for it and telling them exactly what I was doing, but I never actually considered it, mainly because I couldn't look more like a poacher if I tried. Patience was the choice here, and eventually there was a window of quiet.
They've gone into that farm. Yeah, I'm going to go now.
Keeping to the right of the line slightly allowed me to stay hidden in the cover of these trees whenever possible. An exposed stretch then led me into the safety of another forest, but I was now nearing the main yard of the estate. And even from quite deep inside the trees, I could tell that it wasn't a place I was going to want to get too close to.
So many vehicles. I've counted at least 10 or 12 vehicles. Hunting cronies. They might be arseholes if they're all together. They might want to show off in front of their mates.
With gunshots popping off left, right and centre, and even more vehicles rocking up at the yard.
Movement on that black truck.
I veered right this time in order to stay in the trees, but quite soon I was going to run out of them.
I'm moving quite far from the line now. I've got to go down there. I've got to cut down. Just heard a voice. This is what I need to run across. That river is big as well, guys. But I'm gonna look for a little longer and I'm just gonna head down. Okay.
Unlike my posh rivals Archie and Adam, I was not in my natural environment here on the hunting estate. I had no idea what would happen if I was seen, and I'd come too far to tempt fate now. When I did finally emerge from the trees, I was 53 metres away from the line.
Okay. No repeats of earlier. Okay, good.
In the cover of these trees, I realised that that wasn't the only bit of water I'd be crossing.
How is there another river?
And as I made my way across the second one, just 200 metres from the safety of the meeting spot, the gunshots seemed to be getting louder.
They sound like they're right there. But I'm gonna lay here and just watch for movement.
A couple of minutes later though, two reassuring figures appeared.
I can see Ben and Verity. I think I just go. I think that's just echoes. I might be really in view of the cars here though.
But another lung-busting uphill field later, with no idea whether anyone had seen me or not, safety and sweet, sweet support.
That was dodgy, man.
There was somebody up there waving a white flag.
Yeah.
Is that Tom?
Mate. Yeah.
I may have been a bit sloppy with my deviations in hindsight, but I didn't care. I was still going. And despite more hold-ups, I was still just about on track for today's target.
We've got 6 miles.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
After I'd got a few much-needed electrolytes into my system, one of the resident farmers approached us.
I don't think they saw me, but you never know. He's coming up here.
Stand in front of me,
Let's
so
see
you
what a friendly wave it is.
Friendly one?
An index finger.
There's a finger, yeah.
And we decided to make full use of his absence.
Right. While that old git's gone, I'm gonna dart across.
Yeah, mate, you just get caught, mate.
Right, see you in a bit.
See you later, dude.
See you in a bit.
We'll go straight there.
Alright, bye. Oh, my other toenail took a pounding there. Okay, my exit from Lynn Hope Estate is on a public footpath. Why not? Let's run, let's warm up, and let's get to Rodham before it gets dark.
So, quite glad that I'd opted not to camp here,
It's pretty dodgy with that farmer around.
I marched on. It was a tad ambitious, but I believed that I could now travel at a speed of 4 miles an hour, which would set the final part of the day up beautifully.
This is very, very quick.
So far, the terrain was exactly what I hoped it would be, and I was flying.
I'm absolutely buzzing right now.
And there was more good news.
Oh my god, guess what it's time for? It's the 3/4 way point. There it is, I've just passed it.
I can't stress to you how comparatively easy moorland like this actually is. If England looked like this all the way across, doing it in 24 hours would probably be an appropriate challenge. Sadly, that wasn't the case, but at least it didn't look like I was going to have to traverse a ravine in the dark.
That's what we're aiming for. Just to the left of that wood there. I'm not going to make half past, but I'll be just after.
Except this is a straight line mission, not a Sunday stroll, and if things are going too well, there's a good chance you've overlooked something.
Oh no! Don't say this is a giant gorse patch. Of course it had to make an appearance. Ow! Gone to the left, you bellend. mighty, mighty buggers. Okay, definitely going to be late now.
And there were more obstacles up ahead.
Oh, hello, sir.
Well, technically there weren't, because this was actually Rodham Burn. I just failed to notice that I needed to cross it several more times upstream.
Oh God, what have we got here? That's like a bit flooded, isn't it? How do I cross that?
The first of those crossings was okay, but once again, it was pointless.
You're joking, I didn't need to cross it. I've got to go over this log then. And that is deep. No, I can't do that. Oh God, that is so deep, guys. Right, I just need to step and then jump. There we go.
But of course, there was more.
Again, you're joking, aren't you?
And more.
I'm crossing it again. Jesus. How didn't I flag this up?
It was tricky to access, but the final crossing wasn't too much trouble.
Okay, that's got to be it.
And with just one little moorland stretch to go, it looked like I was going to get to the ravine before dark. Just about. At Rodham Burn, I was greeted by my wife.
There's Verity.
But man of tradition Ben was over at the van, presumably polishing off some leftover hash browns. When he returned, he almost knocked himself out on a branch.
Benny boy. Bloody hell, mate, careful.
But there was no time to mess around. Darkness was descending fast, and after a quick glug of Lucozade and some last-minute decision-making...
I don't think I can come with you,
Yeah.
because I'll have to come back on my own.
Yeah.
I'd look for the map, there's no other way of me getting back
No, that's alright,
to the
man.
van.
It was time to finish this day off.
Right. See you in a bit. Right. We've got farmer danger and physical danger. Oh, let's see if I can manage both. Look at that. Shit me. That is well dodgy. That could be really slippy. Oh, maybe I can jump it. Maybe Ben's right. Yeah. Don't slip though, Tom. Oh, yes, that is fantastic.
Thanks to Omar, we knew the opposite bank wasn't a sheer cliff, but there was a very steep part to my left which I had to steer well clear of.
Yeah, that is a cliff down there.
In between the two ravines was a couple of farmers' fields, but the light was absolutely ideal, and they didn't feel like they would be fiercely protected anyway. There was a farmer on the other side of the ravine,
Don't know what they're doing.
reminding me that I needed to keep my wits about me, but my main worry now, of course, was the larger of the two ravines.
Right, head torch has got to go on. Hopefully there's not too many fallen trees. Oh my God, can you imagine? We do have fallen trees. Of course we do. Why would I expect anything else? Oh, now this is the problem in the dark. God, that goes down far.
To be honest, this is the exact type of thing I'd been trying to avoid on this mission. All I could do was be extra vigilant, shuffle my way down to the river, and hope that it was crossable.
Right, get down here, be sensible. Okay. And there it looks fairly shallow. Over the river. No, I think we're all good. God, that's tough after today. Oh, and I've got the butterflies for these farmers' fields. I'm glad that went well, but this is getting a bit dark now. If there is a really tough hedgerow, I need light. Light which could attract attention. And there goes the light. At the moment, it is the perfect light for me, but we've got 1.5 miles to do.
The first field led me into a small tree plantation, which was thankfully all right to walk through, and this led me out onto one of my favourite fields of the whole mission.
This is grassy and downhill. This is an incredible field. It's about 1 kilometre long, no people around, no buildings.
Coming up next though was a sizable farm, one that I was very glad I wasn't passing in the daytime. There are still plenty of people up and about at 5 PM though, especially on a farm, and I needed to remain invisible and silent while I snuck past the back of the yard.
There's someone down there with a torch. They shouldn't be able to see me though. God, we're getting close to this farm. That's a bit noisy.
But my clumsiness attracted no attention, and after boldly crossing a field that had a horse in it,
Be brave, Tom, be brave.
I went through fields 8, 9 and 10, despite a bad hedgerow, onto the main road, and in that perfect invisibility cloak level of light, into the final field of the day, where the homely lights of the camper van beckoned me home.
There it is. Yo, how's it going?
This
Okay.
bit's really, we can't pull up on this
Yeah, you
bit.
can't
No.
put on this.
Right. Clocking off.
Well done, man.
Yeah.
Me. Get in.
Yes,
Well
mate.
done.
Oh,
Well done.
that is mad, isn't it?
Hoping that this particular strip of grass was a bit firmer than the last one we tried to park on, we slumped into our seats and mulled over what was another insane day. Me, man. That is a marathon of a Michelin day, isn't it?
Huge day. Longest day you've ever done.
By a long chalk, yeah.
Wow.
Great job by you two, by the way, stocking me up. Actually, you know, when I think back, there was 2 moments today where I actually thought the mission could be over. The absolute ocean of horizontal trees in Kidland Forest at the end. The other time was at Linhope. Hundreds of gunshots going off,
Yeah.
people with flags.
Yeah.
We saw the white flag and I thought it was you. I thought you'd had your white dry bag and for whatever reason you were on the hill. I genuinely thought you were trying to like signal that you were like, the mission was
Surrender.
over and you were like, you needed help.
I
or something.
surrender. Is that all we need to mention?
No, I reversed the van into a fence
Serious?
and I've cracked the bumper on the back.
Yeah, it's cracked.
With 500 quid instantly knocked off his wages, Ben then slaved over a hot stove for me once again before we finalised the final plan. As I explained to you in the previous episode, there was a pretty nasty looking run of fields to tackle coming up, and part of why we'd chosen to camp here was so that I could tackle them before sunrise tomorrow. This was a no-brainer. But the problem was, this wasn't the only run of bad fields that stood between me and the coast. And that's a bit of an understatement, because if we scroll past this hunting estate and over to Purdy Lodge on the A1, we arrive at what is quite possibly the worst 5 miles of farmland I will have ever attempted to cross. 26 big, flat, open, predominantly crop fields, overlooked by a number of farms and bad hedgerows dividing it all up. The chances of being seen somewhere along here were probably about 50-50. Chances of being caught and failing more like 25%. So, you've guessed it, I was going to split this 12 miles into 2, stay at the perfectly positioned Purdy Lodge and sprint across these final 5 miles of farmland before sunrise tomorrow. Obviously this would result in some more dark footage, and I'd love to tell you that it was a tough decision, but it wasn't. I could gamble the whole mission for some more good footage, but it was as simple as this. I'd never forgive myself if it didn't pay off. Back to the day 6 plan though, because it was by no means watertight, thanks to a deep looking river just under a mile in. If I couldn't cross this, or got drenched trying, I'd need to call the support crew in, and this section would have to be done in the light. In the morning, we still didn't really have a solution.
Okay, so you want us to meet you at Headburn then, just in case?
I don't know, it might be a bit hot with farmers. If I get really wet and I need you at Hepburn, I'll just message you saying Hepburn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Headburn now.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. The torch is gonna have to be on at this point, quite dimly. But off we go.
The first order of the day was to enter some trees.
Here we go, let's hope this is kind. Whoa!
And apart from some more heart attack triggering foul, we were off to a good start.
This is quite marshy, but it's quite open, that's good.
On my left was a large fishing pond whose boggy edges dampened my feet.
Oh yeah, that is swampy.
But I was able to skirt along it, resisting the temptation to join this path before entering this wood, where apart from a bit of log-based debris, I had to contend with two of these bad boys in the dark.
Okay. And we're into the fields.
Lights off was the policy in the fields, but it wasn't always practical.
Uh-oh. It's a stream. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Okay, we're getting wet. Simple as that. Might as well start early.
It was then a nice friendly encounter with our old friend Rodham Byrne.
Let's get in there. It's nice.
But once I was out of this swampy area, farm lights began to enter the picture.
There's a farm over there with a moving light actually.
I had to rely on the moon to light my way for a field or two, until...
Oh God, we're here already. I'm really worried about this river. Moment of truth. Oh God. Right, how bad is this? I'm in already.
Just to my right, the river split into two parts.
Let's get to that middle bit.
The water was thigh deep in the first half.
This is manageable.
However,
that looks a lot deeper, guys. Ah, shit. Should we go for it? Oh, that's really deep.
But then I had a brainwave.
I wonder if I can get over that tree. Just hang over there, because this is deep.
The tree was young, springy and very thin.
This is never going to take my weight.
All my weight on the lower branch would surely snap it. But if I could bend the tiny trunk over and effectively hang from it, I might have a chance.
I think it might just be possible, you know. Oh my God. Check this out. I'm at the end. Oh, that is incredible, guys. That is such a result. That's probably, I'd be totally wet. Get in.
I may have saved myself from a full body soaking in the river itself, but the river had done a wee-wee.
Is this just a lake? Okay, no, I can see it. Oh my God, this goes pretty darn deep, you know. It's not a swamp though, but it is up to my thighs right now. But it's getting better, it's getting better. And it's safe to say my feet are wet.
This is the point at which I would have been quaking in my boots had I arrived here in broad daylight.
Yeah, the light's getting good now.
But in my new favourite time of day, with the exception of one very bad hedgerow, the first 4 of these 9 fields were ticked off with relative ease. This Goldilocks darkness wouldn't last much longer though.
This is a nasty hedge. God, I really don't know where to go.
And with the biggest farm of the day approaching on the right, I could do without any more hold-ups.
Right, the lights from that farm are blaring.
There was definite activity at the farm.
There's actually a fire down there. Shit.
So I took full advantage of another pre-orchestrated hedge gap on the lane that led into it.
And that is a huge wall. Look at that fire.
And legged it through the 2 hottest fields.
I'm in plain view of that house now and its windows. Further towards them forests we can get, the better. There's one more field, but I reckon we could convince a farmer to let us cross this one. Lovely little bridge. Okay, I'm out of view now, dripping with sweat. Oh yes, get in. we can take it easy now for a bit. Here we go, let's see what this forest has to bring.
The huge fence reminded me that I had entered the massive yet mysterious private estate that would make up about a third of today's distance.
Okay, this should be okay. It's pretty remote, lovely rugged area. We might see a few deer, but as we saw yesterday, people do hunt in their spare time, which can often be on a weekday. So I'm just going to keep my eyes and ears peeled for white and red flags, green flags and shotguns. Whoever owns this probably wouldn't be happy with me crossing it.
But apart from that very last sentence, I was completely wrong. It wasn't a private hunting estate at all. It was something even worse than that. This was the home of the only truly wild cattle herd in the world. The famous Chillingham cattle. Famous, but not famous enough for me to find out about them before the mission and not during the editing process. All I can say is I'm very glad I didn't come face to face with them as I strolled through their turf, because they're probably the most dangerous herd of animals in the country, and I would have been completely oblivious to that. Unaware of my bovine intrusion, I couldn't help but notice what good ground I was making.
4 miles to Purdy Lodge, so I've done 3. Oh, it's good, it's good. Look at that old oak. That is ancient, you can tell by these low branches that come out really far. Look at that. Marvellous old tree.
But very soon I would be leaving these lovely, sturdy, deciduous trees behind, and despite what I said yesterday,
that is the last one though. Hopefully of the whole bloody mission. I never want to do any of that again.
I was about to enter the pine once more, and they weren't looking great.
I do see fallen logs though. There could be more deviations on day 5. Oh, it can't be as bad as Kidland.
To be fair, I was well within my rights to potentially jinx myself on this occasion. I mean, this forest was less than a mile across. The odds of it being worse than Kidland were ridiculously slim. But jinx myself I had.
Doesn't look good over there.
What I was now heading into was the worst forest of the entire mission. And I'm not just being dramatic, it was the worst. This 400 metre section was alright, unlike my quads.
I'm a bit exhausted today. Everything's taking a little bit more effort.
And the next section was alright too.
Okay, I'll take that.
In fact, it was actually quite enjoyable.
Oh my god, yes. There it is. The North Sea.
But if we take a look at this giant slab of trees here, and zoom in on the 3 or 4 small chunks of new imagery that were added just after the mission, you start to get a picture of the scale of what I was about to come up against.
Now that's horrendous.
Unfortunately for me, pretty much this entire 600 metre wide block of forest was on its arse, and all of a sudden the entire mission was under threat.
Oh my god, man. This looks like it could be the worst one yet. It's absolutely gigantic. Don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man.
It felt pretty hopeless at first, but as I delved in a little further to see if I could get a better view, I couldn't help but notice that the logs were actually relatively dry. Even so, committing to something like this was very risky.
Can I really get over that? Really?
It felt like this was my ultimate test. If I could just get past this, the mission was in the bag. If not, failure, after everything I'd been through.
I've got no choice. I've got no choice.
And so the decision was made. Hunger for greatness would come before safety. All I needed to do was summon the physical and mental strength required. And that's exactly what I would do just after I'd booted the end of this branch with my barely attached big toenail.
My toe. Oh, you idiot. That killed. Really careful. I'm being very, very careful, guys.
testing everything, 4 points of contact at all times. When I lift my foot up, making sure I'm not going to trip on anything, testing the strength of everything, and all those things combined should be enough. There's no way, look, there's no way around there, and there's no way around there. This had to be done. But if it, as I say, if it was wet, I wouldn't have gone in and it would have been game over. Can you imagine if it was raining today?
And it wasn't that hard to imagine. One of those slips at the wrong time could easily result in a branch sticking into my throat. You've heard it all before though, and you've seen it too. So here's 22 minutes of this condensed into a 20-second montage.
I will get out of this.
Unlike on day one, I was not hugging the line on this occasion. I was aiming for a group of trees to the right of the line, which I was hoping would lead me through to more healthy trees, despite the big white gaps that surrounded it. And soon enough, I made it to them.
Is this El Eggio? Don't fall in there now. Oh my God, it is. Oh. Do you know what? I'm not even going to celebrate because I'm not out of the woods.
And boy, was that an understatement.
I can still see loads. No, 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 no! There's more. There's loads more. I am despairing. Why did I pick this route? Why didn't I get a guy with a drone to fly? Oh, that's what we're looking at. A similar size to get across.
I had a brief look both ways to see if there was a way around, but
no, I can't do that. I'll end up being over 100 meters off. I've got no choice but to go through all of that again. I've got no choice. At least I've got all day. That's the key thing here.
Plenty of time for another montage then. It was another hefty section, and it would be even bigger if I wasn't aiming for another line of trees over to the right. The strange thing about this though, other than the obvious, was how well I was coping with it. You'd think the constant disappointment and frustration would have completely broken my spirit by now, but I was managing to just keep my head down and keep thinking of the end. Singing some more Bowie helped me through it.
Put your Ronald Reagan to my head.
As did a good dose of daft humour.
Oh, hello. Hello, Stiffykins. Yeah, it's gone limp. Yeah, it's doing nothing for me, this.
And after another 25 minutes of frankly masterful clambering, I reached the next tree line, but again, of course, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
Gotta go back in. Right, let's take a look at this last bit. Freedom is 70 meters that way. Come on, let's do this last bit.
By this point, I truly felt like a veteran of fallen tree traversion, but in reality, I was still very much learning on the job.
No. I hate it when the bag gets caught when you're under there. What if that was the thing that pulled it all down? Not wanting to disturb that because the logs are resting on it. Ooh, that's the first time I've seen one that moves that much.
The deviations do make for some sore viewing again, but actually, when you put it into perspective, to even cross this thing was a feat in itself. In true straight line mission fashion, the hardest bit of the lot was right at the end, but
Soily
at the
bits.
other side of it all, as if to reward me for my courage and patience, a perfectly positioned tunnel with not just light at the end of it, but lovely flat grass.
Oh my God, look at that. Look at that for a sight. Oh, I'm really proud of myself for that one.
Look at that. The sea. It's calling me. As far as I'm concerned, I've cheated failure again there. And if it was wet, raining or just recently rained, I wouldn't go through it. Definitely not. So yeah, it's amazing that we're still going. Tomorrow, it's not a gimme, but 98% chance of success, which means that these 5 or 6 fields over yonder is the most likely place where it could go wrong now.
I really wanted to get over to those fields and get them out the way, so obviously there were some irritating obstacles to overcome first.
Ooh, this looks thick. Well, in we go.
Feeling like Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty, I hacked my way through several of these mangled branchy patches gallantly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And hoped that there wasn't a dragon of a farmer waiting for me on the other side.
Right, here we go, guys. The chain of fields begins.
This was the first time I'd ran through a farmer's field in broad daylight since Dodd's farm back on day 1.
I'm going to get a very light jog on.
And while the idea of running through 7 of them was nerve-wracking, there were some serious safety nets here to help me out.
Right, how far to the footpath? 300 metres. Well, I can run that in about a minute. I've reached the first footpath.
It was still trespassing,
And there is a tractor there, but I don't think it's moving.
but knowing that there's effectively a safe spot at the end of the field makes the world of difference.
No, not a soul there, I don't think.
Over the footpath and into the even better safety of the first wood, brambles kindly reminded me how close we now were to sea level.
Ah, stupid close.
And the sloped nature of the next field meant I could only use my ears to scan for tractors.
Well, I can't hear anything, so let's gingerly crest this hill. Nothing.
Jeremy Clarkson definitely hadn't done any ploughing round here, but someone had, and I was taking no risks today.
The quicker I am, the less chance there is of someone coming. Simple as that.
The legs were seriously feeling it on all this mud, but if there was a time to push my fitness levels, it was now.
Oh, this is tough. Well, my legs are Over we go.
I'm well aware of how over the top all this legging it looks, but I couldn't care less.
Oh, this is really fast. Wind behind me, flat grass.
This was the last place I could really come undone, and it was almost over.
Okay, penultimate field. No better time than the present.
Field 5 was another downhill blast, and boy did I blast it.
Out my way, sheep. I might catch you up.
But I've got to say, the Northumbrian farmers didn't half make it easy for me. I don't know whether they're lazier or simply more efficient than their Cumbrian counterparts, but I hadn't seen or heard a peep out of them. Not yet, anyway.
Final field, and it is quite a big one. This is going to absolutely knacker me. Okay, gingerly. No one's coming from there. It's just this side. Okay, I'm going to start jogging.
There was a farm over to my left, but when Bamborough Castle poked itself out onto the horizon, I knew it was my day.
This is glorious. Even if there was a vehicle in that farmyard, they wouldn't catch me now. And there's the roof of Purdy Lodge, poking over the horizon. What a feeling. I can see the van. I can see Verity.
That's hilarious seeing him running over this hill.
It had taken slightly longer than expected,
We can get high up here.
but I had reached a seriously significant landmark.
Here we are. The A1. Oh.
Well done.
Oh.
Good.
Put it there.
Well done.
Yes, mate.
Oh. Home and dry, aren't we? Right, I'm clocking off.
How was
It was fine, apart from, and I'm not just saying it,
by far the worst. By far, no, honest to God.
I knew you'd say that. We were eating breakfast and I was like, Tom's going to arrive and be like, no, honestly, that was the worst forest.
No, it was.
My exit onto the fields was so inviting, and I've got to admit the thought of just smashing out the final 5 miles right now was an alluring one, but ultimately my stance was boringly firm.
So have you been thinking about it, like carrying on or like today?
No, not at all. No, hasn't even crossed my mind.
I'd come too far to throw it all away now, but it did feel wrong to be in a hotel room at this stage in the game.
Oh my God. You can literally see Bamberg Castle. Oh.
Oh, I'm wet, but
No,
I'm not that wet. Are we home and dry? Can we say home and dry? I don't
I
think.
believe you can see the finish line from here.
For lunch, I enjoyed a massive steak just 12.4 metres from the line.
God, this is ridiculous.
And that afternoon, we set about making sure that nothing could go wrong on the final stretch, which included a genius way to immunise me from any early rising farmers.
Decoy headlamp, so that if a farmer, sees a light, because inevitably I'm going to have to put the torch on at times to tackle a hedgerow. If I see the farmer's light coming, I can hang this one in the hedgerow so that it's swaying, turn mine off, scarper, and the farmer will be drawn like a moth to this while I make my getaway. And he'll be musing over that for friggin' months. It is time. It's time to finish this off. Right, let's go.
Right, good luck.
See you in a bit. Wish me luck.
Love to see you there.
See you there.
And unfortunately, guys, we are back into darkness for a bit, but here is the abridged lowdown. Field 1 was massive, and in it I quickly realised that the moon and the stars were going to help light the way for me.
Running through the dark, lit up by the moon, surrounded by stars. Okay, first hedge.
And field 2 led me to a public footpath and into a freshly ploughed and muddy third field. This mean-looking farm overlooked the next 3 hedgerow-lined fields, and this is how they went.
First serious hedgerow, but I've got a gap. Next hedgerow, nothing there, and back into ploughed. Watch the ankle, Tom. Got another gap here. That is incredible. Field 5 done.
But then my hedgerow luck ran out.
Now this one looks bad. This is the road. I think we can get over. Oh. And the next one is awful. I think I've got to go over again. Wow. Can't believe I did them. Absolutely huge.
One field later, I used my imagination to pass the time.
Oh, we're at the railway track. That is proper brambly. Oh God, this is awful.
And the other side of this imaginary railway was even worse.
Oh, get off. Okay, we're out. Deep water. Yep, it's pretty damn deep.
And in this small bit of woodland, there was more.
Oh, is that a river? It is. I could cross on that. Do you know, I think I'm gonna. Just for a laugh. It's one thing doing this in the day. Not a lot to hold on to here. But I have got a lot of experience. It'd be a shame not to put that experience to use. And I'm over. Oh, there we go. Oh no. What's all this? But that looks deep. No trees over this bit. Okay, I don't think that's too bad. Okay. Whatever, that'll do.
The next 17 minutes were spent tackling more tricky hedgerows and bramble-lined ditches.
Ah, yes. There we go.
Whilst trying my best to keep the torch to a minimum.
But there is a light over there. God, I can smell the castle now. I can taste the sea air.
And it was getting easier for me.
I can see better now. This is the perfect light.
I had been a bit worried about this property and any dogs or early risers that might be there, particularly with this nasty hedgerow preventing a quick escape, but there were no lights on at the house.
Oh.
and I managed a painful Moses on the hedge.
Oh, that was awful.
The next 6 fields were a mixed bag, some hedgerows being ideal,
2 pretty quick hedgerows. That's exactly what I dreamt of.
and some being really bad, namely the 2 at this road.
We can do it though, Tom, we can do it.
But I was so close now, and the brighter the castle lights grew, the surer I was that I was going to make it.
We must only have 1 or 2 hedgerows left now. And I believe this is the final field. Look at this, what a glorious sight. The sunrise, the moon, the castle. We've got a swamp though, of course we have. You know there's going to be things to slow me down yet. When has there not been? That's wet. Oh shit. Swamp's done. Now what have we got? Horrible scraggly woodland.
I had aimed for the final mile or so to be a bit more visible, but I'd arrived too quickly. Insanely quick, in fact. Once again though, I didn't mind. The farmland was conquered, and barring a freak accident, the mission was done.
And this is the road. That, over the other side of there, might be tough, but it's freedom. It's kind of nice actually, just chilling in the farmer's field on the wrong side. I might just chill here for a while, let the sun come up a bit, and we can tackle the last part in some form of daylight. We've done it though, guys.
The morning had gone so smoothly I'd forgotten about the decoy torch, and with good old Ben and Verity making their way round to the castle, I could not wait any longer to greet them there.
See, we'll be down on the beach, so let's tackle whatever there is between me and those dunes. Might not even be that bad. That'd be pretty funny actually.
And to my delight, it was fine.
What is over this crest? Does the sand start? Sand would be amazing. Not quite. Oh, what is that? It's a deer. One last deer. Look at that, it's looking at me. There's 2. There's loads of them. Wow, what a lovely send-off. Might be the nicest woodland I've had to walk through so far. It's even got deer. I'm just going to enjoy every moment of this, guys. I'm already on the dunes. That was a piece of piss. Look at this though, look at that. And look at the castle. I can't believe I've done it.
But there was one last thing standing in my way.
Unless it's really shallow, but oh no, that's really stinky. Oh my god, oh shit. No, that is so muddy. I sank like a foot there. We don't want a repeat of Norway just before I get to the sea. I'll skirt round, it's 20 metres, for crying out loud.
It was annoying because I really did want to provide you with a good bit of footage at the end, but instead I had to settle for some foul-smelling knee-deep mud.
Oh no, there's always something, oh god. Oh, I'm in it, I'm right in it now. Brambly Bog, there you go, there's your last minute bit of entertainment. Oh, there's Ben. Yes!
And after one last customary little hurdle,
Oh, what's a oh, what Ben's doing here?
it was the moment I'd been dreaming of.
Here we go, guys. Oh my god. Yes! Oh. Bring it in. Oh, thank f. Yes. Yes. Oh. There we go. Oh. He shoots, he scores. It's the sea. It's the sea. It's the North Sea. I don't believe it. Is it salty? Yeah. Come on. What a mission. Signing out on this. Power off. What a mission.
First time. Mwah. Oh, what a relief. It was all for something, it was all not for nothing.
First attempt.
First attempt, you know, bronze or silver, but Mother Nature sort of dictates things, doesn't she?
Figure that out later.
I think if I think back to when I was dabbling my fingers in the Line estuary all those days ago, 7 days ago, I had no idea whether I'd do this. It was like 50-50, probably less to be honest. But here we are, it's done. First time. Wales took 4 times, this took 1.
It's no coincidence that I'm here.
Yeah.
And he did it first time, and I wasn't on any of the Wales missions. Just saying.
It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Verity and Ben, absolutely crucial. Crucial. Don't you think?
I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
I hope so, mate.
It's been way more anxiety ridden than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I know, because you warned me about that. You honestly,
Yeah.
it gets really bad when you don't know where he is, and he's not there when you at the meeting point, and you lose signal, and you think, well, God.
And that's with the satellite phone. But the organisation, the cooking, the equipment, it was all just like, you were busy pretty much all the time, weren't you?
Yeah.
When
Even when you weren't there, we were like, okay, what do we need to organise in the van? What are you going to need?
Yeah.
Where do we need to be next?
Yeah.
Do I put hash brown or sausage on my fork, or bacon and beans? Like, you know, things like that.
I did have 7 full English breakfasts.
That's a feat in itself, mate.
I can't wait for a beer now.
Oh my
I know
God.
it's 8 o'clock in the morning, but there'll be a pub open somewhere.
There will be a pub open somewhere down this glorious coast.
Look at it.
How beautiful is it? What do you say? Should we walk up to the castle and then grab a pint?
Yes.
And just like that, it was all over. The pain, the paranoia, the frustration, and the emotional turmoil all gone and replaced by jubilation, relief, and peace. My sole aim was to become the first person to cross England in a straight line, and I had done it. Was I completely happy with the way in which it was carried out? No. I would have liked to have taken more risks in the farmland in the daytime, and it pained me to have to film some of it at night. But at the end of the day, these decisions ensured that the job got done. It kind of felt like winning a tournament by parking the bus every game and scraping through on penalties.
Oh, sun's coming up. I guess it's over.
Deviations wise, a bronze run isn't ideal, and I wasn't over the moon with it at the time, certainly. If it weren't for the freak of nature that was Storm Arwen and its resulting damage, this probably would have been a gold run. And I definitely could have done more research and drone scouting to find out exactly where the damage was and plot a line that went through more farmland instead. But on the other hand, for all we know, I might have been caught that way. Archie and Adam's line was more farmland heavy, and they had 3 farmer encounters on day 1 alone, and while I applaud their confidence, ultimately they got lucky there. Overall, I think I've got to be grateful, A, that I didn't seriously hurt myself climbing through the trees, and B, that the rain did actually hold off at crucial times, allowing me to even attempt it.
Oh my God, well, we wanted a nautical themed pub. I think we found it.
I definitely became a bit obsessed with accolades somewhere along the line, but I can safely say that now the 2 big ones are done, I'm going to go back to having fun again. My next straight line mission will be all about staying glued to the line, taking more risks, in a deviation sense that is, having fun with the obstacles, and hopefully getting back into the tent too. I want to give an official shout out to Archie and Adam, who did spur me on to get this done. I think they were 2 days behind me at this point, having started a day late, otherwise I would have thought twice about stopping at Purdy Lodge. Do hop over to their channel for more abysmal GeoWizard impressions and to see if they can complete their ballsy and frankly suicidal effort. And finally, one more shout out has to go to Ben and Verity, who were not only instrumental to my success in a literal sense, but who spurred me on more than they could have known just from their presence and how much they were gunning for me to succeed. I couldn't let them down. As usual guys, all the bonus footage, which includes some funny conversations and key decision making in the van, behind the scenes clips from Ben and Verity's camera, and all the best clips from my camera that didn't make the cut, will be available on Patreon on the $1 tier, released gradually over the next month, with the $4 tier getting so much more adventure content on top of that. Do not miss the line review video in which I discuss all the main deviations, my devastating Burdell score, but perhaps most intriguingly, the potential for tweaking the line to make it silver? Sounds controversial, but that will all be discussed in a couple of weeks' time on YouTube. And finally, do you want to rent Macy the van? She played a key role on this epic mission, and having been given a new bumper by her friendly owners up north, she is clucking for more adventures in Northumberland or beyond. And that is just about all there is to say, folks. Thank you so much for being here and watching these episodes and commenting on them and liking them. A huge thanks to my Patreons who support me financially and make doing this job for the rest of my life a reality. And on that note, I will see you all very soon on my next mad, but not quite this mad, adventure. Happy adventuring, everyone.